everybody, I'm Beebs Kelley. Welcome back to another video. Today's video, I have a special treat. My friend Jen from Real Housewives Recaps is back to chat a little bit about Catherine the Princess of Wales's most fabulous winter wardrobe and Meghan Markle's in comparison. But first, I have an announcement. This video was filmed yesterday. I was on the podcast with Jen yesterday, but it all got deleted. So the entire podcast is going to be filmed in the podcast format rather than including clips like these that you're used to seeing on my channel, which is what I usually do when I film with Jen, is I still have some of more of my normal format, but not this time since it got screwed up and lost, basically. Thank you, technology, so very much. Today's chat is so much fun, though, because we are comparing how each of these two ladies, then the Duchess of Cambridge and Duchess of Sussex, approached their first Christmases at Sandringham. It's very interesting to see the differences between how these ladies approach the same fashion moment. Now, we're not comparing the two ladies in terms of their personal style or their body type, but rather how two new members of the royal family took the task of joining them for Christmas with the Queen at the time very, very differently. So I very much hope you enjoy it. Without further ado, let's begin.
Hi, thanks so much for having me back on. I'm so excited to be here with you.
Thank you so much for coming back on. So you guys, we recorded for Jen's channel as well. It'll probably be up before mine, but just be sure to go and check. I'll try to link it for you guys. Go check the first part of our conversation over on Jen's channel.
Yeah, I'm Real Housewives Recaps here on YouTube. You can find me there. I mostly do news stories about Harry and Meghan, but I love talking the fashion mishaps with you. That's so much fun.
And do you have anything exciting coming up or anything new planned?
So the idiots are releasing their book soon, meaning that end game through their spokesman Omid. So I will be covering that book in depth when it hits. Don't go out and buy the book. I've talked to a very nice library lady who is getting me the book, and I will be breaking it down on my channel. So look for that as soon as it comes out at the end of November.
Excellent, excellent. End of November. Well, I'm excited. I will be catching those recaps too.
Oh, thanks.
Awesome. So we have, since it is wintertime, we have been talking over on Jen's channel about some of Catherine the Princess of Wales's best coat dresses and wintry looks because they are always so fabulous. And we also covered a few of the Meg's questionable winter looks because they are just that, very questionable. But now let's take a look. I thought it would be fun to just take a look back to 2011 when, at the time, Kate Middleton, Duchess of Cambridge, had just joined the family, and what she wore for her first Christmas at Sandringham. And we can compare to what Meg chose for her first impression at Sandringham, her first Christmas there. Yes. Big differences we have between these two. We have Catherine here in this gorgeous, gorgeous plum burgundy colored coat dress here, dark tights, basic pumps with a block heel, and this absolutely fabulous hat. What do you think about this look?
I think she looks beautiful. I love it. What a fun, festive color. Yeah, the hat's interesting, and it's probably maybe not something we'd see her in now. For back then, it's perfect. I love her. So I love it. I think it's such a fun look. I love the color still. I mean, just beautiful.
Yeah, it is. It's absolutely beautiful. Yeah, this here says that it's a maroon ensemble, including a coat and a velvet hat. So that's kind of interesting to pull in those textures around this time of year, to have something like velvet, something that looks more cozy and warm and rich and muted in its color, rather than something like super shiny. I know now that's, sometimes people are really into the shine, but I just really love that sort of velvety texture for this time of year. And the cut of this coat is really, really nice. I love the simplicity of the neckline and the collar here. It's actually would have been a nice option for Meghan to try a neckline like this for her coats that just didn't have bulk and noise added to it.
Yes, I think you're spot on. Yeah, the fit of this coat is great on Catherine.
In stark contrast to what Meghan chose to wear for her first Sandringham Christmas. She chose, first off, brown.
Nothing says Christmas like brown.
That's what I always say. Tell us a little bit more about this outfit. You have all of the deets on
Yes,
this.
I'm obsessed because I just find it so weird. So this was, of course, December 2017, Christmas services, Sandringham. I never say this person, right? I think it's Cintaller, maybe is how you say it. It's called the Long Wrap. It's a Canadian label. This coat will cost you $1,295. But if you really want to be shocked, the head to toe look will set you back about $10,000. Should we all run right out and buy them in brown? No. No, I
Especially
hate it
brown.
so much. I really do. I mean, we talked about I hate this look so much.
This one's rough. What's your least favorite of it between the unfortunate emoji hat,
Uh-huh.
the overwhelming coat,
Yeah.
mismatching accessories here? What's your least favorite
I gotta
element?
go with the hat because it's not just the poop emoji, it's the chocolate curl taped to the side of it. It's the unfortunate shape it gives anybody's head. I don't know why you would want that shape for your head. So I hate the hat so much. Yeah, I don't I think just the close second would be the color, just the brown. I hate brown for this. I love brown for fall. I don't understand it for Christmas. I really don't.
Yeah. Yeah. And it doesn't even, I'm noticing now, I missed it in the when we were talking about this on your channel some, I missed that it doesn't even match Harry at all in any way, shape, or form. It's
You're
not like
right.
he had some sort of tan element to his outfit
Mhm.
that maybe would have been like, "Oh, well, they're matching at least."
Mhm.
Didn't even have that because his is like
No.
a kinda gray.
No.
Yeah. So,
Nobody talked to anybody. I just feel like, again, I don't know. I'm just guessing she just did her own thing. It was like, "This is what I'm wearing. Won't listen
yeah.
to anybody else." It's horrible.
Coat itself, isn't this the same? She has it in red for
Oh.
when she wore the purple dress underneath and the red coat
Oh, I know
the
what you're
day.
talking about. Is it the
Yes.
same coat? Oh,
I
you
think
might
it's
be
the same
right.
coat, but in this one's tan, that one's red. I think because I'm
Okay.
thinking that because around the cuffs it has those lines, those seams.
Uh-huh.
That
That
kind of
yeah.
reminds me of that other coat. So you guys leave it in the comments if I'm wrong, if that's not the same coat. And that day
I
was
think
quite
you're right.
notorious. The red
Yeah,
color, though, would have been a better option, is the point I was getting to.
you're so
That
right.
if it is the same coat, it was available in red. If she would have done red
Mhm.
this day, it would have made sense.
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
would have
you're
even
right.
yeah, and it would have even looked nice next to Catherine's, who was wearing this sort of tartan plaid that
Mhm.
had a little bit of red in it, if I remember correctly.
I
So
just
it would have
think
been
when
a bright pop.
you're in the UK surrounded by castles and literal royalty, it's the time where you can go a little bit, lean into Christmas colors, you know? I mean, even if it's not your thing, you had pointed out there are elevated ways to do like blues or sophisticated colors that are
Yes.
not this, not
Yes.
brown. For
Exactly.
wear that for Thanksgiving. I know Thanksgiving's not a thing over there, but wear that for Thanksgiving or the fall, not for but
Yes.
geez, burn that hat. I don't
Yeah.
know.
The hat is probably my least favorite element of it also. But
Yeah.
yeah, we dove into it a lot on your channel, so we won't
Mhm.
spend too much more time on it. You guys go watch that if you wanna hear
Mhm.
more about that outfit. But when you just compare these 2 women, both of them were having their first Christmas with the
Mhm.
queen, their
Yes.
first Christmas at Sandringham, this tradition that's been going on for years and years and years,
Mhm.
decades. To go there for the first time, I mean, Catherine, pretty sure she was already married at this point in
Mhm.
2011.
Yes.
Meghan was just a fiance. It was the first time that somebody had brought their fiance along, I believe. Correct
Yes,
me
I
if
believe
I'm
you're
wrong.
correct.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
So that was a big deal. And that's just one of those things I do point back to as Harry and Meghan were not being treated unfairly by the royal family at all. They were being given extra privileges and extra
Yes.
opportunities that others were not. There were even articles at the time like, hey, not even Kate, our
Uh-huh.
favorite royal, not even
Uh-huh.
her got to go to Sandringham beforehand,
Mhm.
before as a girlfriend. And so Meghan and Harry were getting these sorts of privileges and special treatment way back then, and she blew it with the outfit, but I mean, just the fact that they complained so much shows they
Yes.
ignored the allowances that they had been given from the start. What do you think about this?
You're so spot on, and I'm so glad you bring this up. That's exactly what I've been saying too. We have a million examples like this where they were given extra privileges, if you will, or leeway. And allowances and things, and yet they can't get out of their own way. They scream victim and say, no, we were treated unfairly and people were mean and stuff. I'm sorry. And then I go back to Meghan, who, okay, let's say you're in her position. Special allowances were made for you. Not only can you not dress the part, fine, whatever, you're standing there with your tongue out of your head in your photos. I cannot get past this. You're a grown woman in your 30s and you're standing there with sticking your tongue out at Christmas. I just think it's so crazy and ridiculous. I'll never get past. It's so petty, but I'll never get past it. Yes, you see pictures of the royals sticking their tongue out. It's not a new thing, but it's a new thing for an event like this at Christmas, having your photo. I mean, it's the same at the garden parties. She did the same thing. So,
well, and it's not just one time,
I have a
she
whole
was
video
licking
on
her
it.
lips and it was just a bad moment because like
Right.
everybody's going to wet their lips occasionally. It wasn't
Sure.
that. Yeah.
No,
You have
this
a
is
full video.
making a scene. Yeah. It sounds so silly, but it's just one of a million things that truly is a head scratcher where you're like, did you even try? Did you try? I
Yes,
don't think you did.
exactly. Yeah. To me, it seems such an oversight from Harry and Meghan
Uh-huh.
to ignore the fact that they were actually given more privileges than so many other couples of the royal family.
Yes.
And people are forgetting that because there's lots of people in my comments who think, "Well,
Mhm.
what does it matter?" and stuff.
Uh-huh.
And it matters
It
because
does
they
matter.
weren't
Yes.
treated poorly or given, less of anything. They just were new,
It
she was new. So, of course, she doesn't live in a castle yet.
Yes, and it's a small example of the bigger issue that they cannot tell the truth about easily verifiable things, and this is a great point. We were
Yeah,
treated unfairly, but no, you weren't.
exactly.
If anything, I would say Catherine was treated unfairly.
It's
They're ungrateful, yeah.
yeah, it's ungrateful and it's why just lie or ignore it
Mhm.
unless you're trying to be manipulative in some way.
Yes.
It stirs up so much more. If they would have said some other sort of approach, but still acknowledged the positives and still acknowledged that was something in real time when all of these things were starting to come out that I found surprising and that a lot of people recognized between all of the stuff that Harry and Meghan have done and said so far,
Mhm.
because we're about to be bracing for more here from
Yes.
Omid.
Yeah.
But so far, everything they've done and said, hardly any acknowledgement of positives whatsoever. Like
Uh-huh.
literally not a word about things that went well or were nice or were interesting or fun or valuable experiences of any kind.
Yeah,
She can't even say something positive about her experiences meeting people from other cultures on tours. Like, not even that
absolutely.
has she said was an enriching experience to her
No.
life, or that,
Mhm.
it was wonderful to get to go as a fiance to Sandringham. I'm so glad I got that opportunity. None of those types of things have been acknowledged at all, and it's
Absolutely.
crazy. This reminded me that she was
Mhm.
not even yet married when we got ready for this video, when
You're
she
right.
had her first one.
You're so right,
Yeah.
and that's such a good point. Yep,
Yeah.
absolutely. Mm.
All right.
Can I
Well,
ask you a quick
oh,
question
yes.
though
Yes,
on
please.
Catherine's I'm really looking at Catherine's hat here. I hadn't looked closely. I kind of love it. I didn't love it at the front, but the back is really cool with it's almost like a ribbon or a bow in the back.
Yes, it is a super cool hat. I really quite like the structure of it is very interesting and the
Mhm,
shape of it is kind of fun. I think it looks
mhm.
really nice for her hairstyle, for
Yes.
her head shape and whatnot. And it
Mhm.
doesn't compete with the coat, even though it's got those different textures which give it a slightly different shade. It all just goes together really
It
nicely.
does, and it's a nice color. I'm
Mhm.
partial to the color. I
Yes,
like
I
it.
love that color, yeah.
Mhm,
And then we also noticed we were talking about before we started filming how the shoe choice here. She's got
uh-huh.
this block shoe that these ones are Mascaro black suede pumps,
Okay.
but just very practical when you're out
Mhm.
walking down this path where there's sometimes cobblestone or gravel or various things where, you're
Yeah.
potentially not on the most solid of ground in
Mhm.
every spot, or sometimes there's going to be, maybe mud or things like that you got to avoid. Having that block heel or that chunkier heel, this one might not be considered a full block heel, but a chunkier heel is just
Yeah.
helps. It makes more sense and it looks more practical to us, so it automatically looks a little bit better because we're like, oh, that makes sense, that's a good choice or whatever. It doesn't look out of place the way Meghan's stiletto affinity or spike heel affinity tends to sometimes look a little out of place, don't you think?
Yes, absolutely. And it adds to her, I think the awkwardness reads on camera because you would be awkward if you're wobbling around on heels on gravel. It's thoughtful details, I think, that Catherine
Exactly.
always has. Yep, I think you're
Hmm.
right. Mhm.
Yeah, because even here, her very first time there, she was still thinking things through. It's just part of her personality, which is great.
I think so
So,
too. And even if she didn't think, oh, there's gravel, it tells me that somebody knew, informed her, and she listened. You know,
yes,
I think
exactly.
that's a huge difference between them.
Yeah. Listening.
Yes.
What?
You mean you
Wow.
don't know everything? Other people can
Right.
help you? Okay. Yeah.
Exactly. So the next year, Catherine looking fabulous again, festive.
Yes.
She has on, let's see what it's like, very rich red, a kind of slightly darker red here with these lovely velvet collar, buttons, and pocket flaps here. It's just bringing that rich texture as I was talking about in the last one, kind of similar with the velvet texture added in. This hat I absolutely love for Catherine. This is
I
a
do too.
great, great
Mhm.
shape to her hat here. And then
Yes.
all of her accessories match just perfectly with that darker sort of suede velvet
Uh-huh.
accent throughout the coat. One of my favorite styles of coat in general, but especially for Catherine here. And then we have the Meg in what looks to be either black or really, 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 really dark blue.
Yeah.
What
Yeah,
do you think?
when I was researching this, that's exact I came across an article describing the outfit, and they literally said in dark blue or black, they couldn't tell. I want to say dark blue, but I wouldn't put it past her that it might be black. I don't
Yeah,
know.
what a shame at
Mhm,
Christmas again to not go for a Christmassy pop because by then it was
mhm,
no longer her first. She had been doing engagements with Harry for a while, so she really would have known and been a
mhm.
little bit more comfortable. So, like, if we were to give her year one a
Yeah,
pass, like, okay,
sure.
you're brand new, you're not
Uh-huh.
even married yet. All right, let's
But
give it a
come
pass.
on, don't wear brown. Yeah.
Yeah, 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 exactly. Still don't like it, but
Yeah.
benefit of the doubt, then you still
Uh-huh.
blow it the second time around without doing anything that's at least a little bit festive or bright in any way.
Yeah, yeah, I it truly doesn't make any sense. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't understand it. The only thing I could find out about this outfit is the coat is by Victoria Beckham, which I find very interesting, knowing where that's friendship has ended up. But it cost a whopping $3,085.
Wow.
Yeah, so let's go out and buy some. And I'm a fan of Victoria Beckham. I don't understand why this coat costs this much, but okay, $3,000 it is. Uh,
Because it's got the name Beckham,
oh,
so
okay. All right, so then that makes
that's
it better. But
that makes up for a good 2 grand of the of the
yeah,
price tag.
this hat, I've always said it looks like a pair of scissors glued to the side of it. I don't
Oh,
understand
yeah.
what I'm looking at, or knives or something. I don't.
Oh my gosh, see, I always thought it looked kind of like a dragonfly
Oh,
stuck,
okay.
but I didn't particularly like that effect, though.
Yeah, no, it's not
But yes,
good.
no, now I can see the scissors. Yes,
Yeah.
it totally does look a little bit like scissors. It's better than the poo emoji, though.
Yeah, yeah, there you go. You can always find something nice to say. There
We
you
have
go.
to. We have to try.
Better than the
Um,
poo emoji.
so it's a slight improvement there, but
Mhm.
still, it would have been so refreshing. And I think also it's just part of that lack of endearment that
Yeah,
she didn't do anything that was kind of fun, warm,
no.
fuzzy at all, because that's what
Uh,
I thought of with what Catherine wore that
yeah,
year. She wore that really cute plaid, slightly above the knee. She was pregnant with Louis. It's got a little bit of fur, that is
yeah.
just like fun and
That's
cozy and
perfect for the holidays, yes.
yeah, I think it kind of like brings people to you a little bit when you're wearing something that's kind of fun or
It's
cute in some
festive,
way.
yes.
Yes, festive, cute, something.
Mhm.
And Megan just doesn't have any of that that's like, I can get behind
No.
that or that's really fun or cute. Like it's not warm fuzzy
It's
when you
really
look at
not.
this.
I don't know what look like, I'm really trying to think. I'm no Meghan Markle fan, but I'm just trying to put that aside and think, what look was she going for? Was it just expensive? Is that what it is? Regal? I
It's
don't know. She missed it, whatever she was going.
It's hard to say. With the darker colors, one might think maybe because she was pregnant with Archie at the time, she
Uh-huh.
wanted something that wasn't going to accentuate or be a little bit slimming, perhaps. But that's just
Uh-huh.
not really a concern when you're pregnant. You're pregnant. Everybody
Yeah,
knows it.
there's
The
nothing you
announcements
can
were out
do.
there. It's not like she was trying to hide it.
Uh-huh.
As we know, with the coat flicking and the wearing something 2 sizes too small to a nursing home, that in the
Mhm.
middle of winter that looks like it belongs in the spring. She wasn't trying to hide her bump.
Uh-huh.
So that would be something that I would think, well, maybe they were trying to keep it not a focal point. They didn't want to showcase the bump because she's wearing dark colors and stuff. But we know that wasn't her approach in general. So that wouldn't
Yeah.
be reasonable to think that that's why she went for this ensemble
Mhm.
now. You know
I
what I
like where
mean?
you're going with that for most people, but I get yeah, no, not for
It
her.
does, yeah, so that doesn't track. I also am not a huge fan of the boots with this. They just look
No.
slouchy around the ankle, especially, and that's because she has such thin, legs
Yeah.
in comparison to the shoe size that she wears, so it doesn't
I
fit
just don't
snugly
think for
enough
this
and stuff, like, it
event
just looks
yeah.
yeah, like, I don't mind wearing boots makes sense for
Sure.
this event,
Uh-huh.
but the length that the dress and then the
Mhm.
coat is longer, and then the boots have this extra noise that looks
Yeah.
wrinkly and messy, as I always say.
Messy, that's right.
So then it just
Yeah.
adds extra messiness down
No.
there, and her bag also looks a little strange the way sh
I think so
what's
too. I was looking
happening?
at that. I don't know. I think it's everything she's pointing to her tummy in the picture that I'm looking at. I don't know, yeah, and it's
Where?
yeah, and it's kind of yeah, she's kinda using it as a prop to me. Again, in this photo, I'm looking at it like she's pointing to the belly with it. I don't know what she's I don't know. Looks like she's headed to a completely different event than Catherine's going to.
Exactly, yes, and I
Mhm.
mean, I love Catherine's look here, it's
I do too.
beautiful. Catherine has this beautiful pin that just kind
Mhm.
of adds a little something extra, it brightens it up a little bit, it kind of,
Yeah.
but it's not
Mm.
over the top. Maybe that's something that Meghan could have done to brighten the look a little bit because it's just
Uh-huh.
so dark. I feel like parts of this look are black, parts are navy. I feel
Yeah.
like the hat has navy feathers, but everything else of it is black. It's just so dark for
Yeah, I
the
don't understand that.
occasion.
Thing I could think is just plotting ahead, planning ahead, and thinking, showing, "Oh, look, I was miserable. I wore this color." Although now she's been out for however long and still just wears stupid colors. I don't
Same stuff. Yeah, same,
I don't
same.
understand. So the interesting thing about this time, though, as you and I were talking about offline, was there was rumblings of the feud that we now know about, of course, but the between the four and or between the two couples, I should say. I don't remember which book. I've read so many books. I believe Lady C kind of went into it about Catherine was actually really trying to help Meghan here, and it may have been on the request of perhaps Her Majesty the Queen. I can't remember. There was a request that Catherine basically lean in for the photos, act happy, that sort of thing, no matter what was really going on. Put on a united front.
Yeah.
So I feel like Catherine's doing that. And knowing what we know now, I really feel for her. I feel for her in these pictures because, if even part of the stuff we've heard is true, and it's, of course, all alleged, but if it's true and she was being put through the hell that she was being put through behind the scenes, and Meghan was being horrible to her and potentially Princess Charlotte, then I feel for Catherine in these photos. I do.
Yeah. It shows that, what I think we've all seen with her character, that she's willing to
Yeah.
make extra efforts for the good of
The
for
family.
greater
Yeah.
good sounds so grand, but,
No,
in
you're
this
right.
situation, for the good of the monarchy as a whole, for keeping the peace, for helping her
Mhm.
husband and her brother-in-law, for helping Meghan, for trying to make the whole thing work and putting any personal feelings to the side to do what's right in the moment
Mhm.
and what will ultimately be the best approach for a situation like that, which would be like, let's these things come through families all the time and these
Yeah,
things pass, right?
sure.
Like conflict or growing periods are always
Yeah.
difficult for family units. Good things at times even can bring about tension like weddings, it's a good
Uh-huh.
thing, but it brings about
Sure.
tension. And so being able to think in the long run, it's better to try to keep the peace a little bit or show people that everything is fine so
Mhm.
that behind the scenes, as things take a little time to settle down, it's not making anything worse. And,
Yes.
if they had been walking on opposite sides or
Mhm.
something like that, could have speculated people
Sure.
could have speculated, "Oh, it's the girls who don't wanna be next to each other. This is
Uh-huh.
the wives who are feuding." And so it was smart to put the wives next to one another for this,
Sure.
and I mean, they both kept smiles on their faces throughout this,
Mhm.
but, I mean, clearly, Catherine was in a lead role, a leading
Yes.
position here
Uh-huh.
because she's simply based on having been doing this so much
Seniority.
longer.
Sure.
Yeah, so, I mean, even if she had been not married to the heir, she still had been in the family for longer, so she still had that she probably felt a degree of responsibility to try to, help a little bit or guide a
Absolutely.
little bit, but that would also be kind of awkward, could you
Oh,
imagine
no.
having somebody be like, "You should go tell her to do better." Like, that's
Yeah.
not gonna go well for me, to have to go tell
No, no,
someone
no.
else that they're, not doing something right. On this day, Meghan stopped to chat with somebody. Some onlookers of the public were there, and they asked about the pregnancy, and Meghan's response was, "We are excited. We're nearly there." To which the lady responded, "Enjoy every moment. Being a mother is such a wonderful thing. But the problem here is that this was December.
Mhm.
Archie's birthday was
May
May
6th.
May
Uh-huh.
6th. Thank you. Always here with the facts for
Yeah.
us and the dates. Very good. May 6th. So this is
2019,
December.
yeah. Mhm.
That means we're not even halfway through the pregnancy at this point. That means you're about 4.5 months.
Uh-huh.
I also had a May baby, early
Mhm.
May baby. And you're not halfway there in December, you're just not.
That's not
You're
yeah.
definitely not nearly there.
No.
The second half of the pregnancy might even seem like it draws out even longer, and it
Yes.
feels like even longer because you're more and more big and uncomfy
Uh-huh.
and harder to sleep and stuff. Definitely not nearly there in December though, but what are your thoughts? Is that just me?
No, you are so spot on, and, I mean, I'm just prone to worry, it's just in my nature, so I don't know about you, but it's like every week I was you get nervous about, "Oh gosh, what if something happens?" It's just always a concern, so it wouldn't even occur to me to say nearly there unless I was maybe 2, 3 weeks out, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
you're not nearly there.
Yeah.
Every day is important, every hour is important at that point in your pregnancy, so it really doesn't make sense.
Especially, yeah, like in the middle of the second trimester. Yeah, like you said, I mean, that's you've barely even some people haven't even had the ultrasound to see is it boy or girl at that point, or just, your anatomical ultrasound
Uh-huh.
for in US anyway is usually somewhere around 20 weeks. And she
Mhm.
wasn't even there yet at that point,
Mm-mm.
really. I mean, this point in December, she may have been right around 20 weeks, perhaps, but
Uh-huh.
I feel like just not quite.
No, I don't no,
Is
not if
my
it
math
was
wrong? Am
May.
I is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like
No, not in May. I'm trying to do the math backwards, but yeah, she still had a full 5 months to go, so
yeah.
no, it doesn't.
This particular outfit, you can't see the bump that great or anything like that, but we
Uh-huh.
know around this time, a lot of people thought or
Hmm.
began to think
Mhm.
it looks maybe a tad bit more dramatic
Yes.
than
Uh-huh.
was maybe a nice way to put it. The bump didn't necessarily look like what other people who have had May babies
Yeah,
looks like at this
sure.
point in December. A lot
Mhm.
of us had
Yeah.
much smaller bumps at this stage.
Uh-huh.
And Megan's quite lean. So, I mean, and she's short waisted. So, I mean, everybody carries different and stuff like that.
Sure.
But I think that some of these moments, which did cause a bit of a stir online, people
Yes.
started getting out their calendars. What does nearly there mean? Are we
Yeah.
talking March? That paired up with the
Yeah.
belly looking a little bit different got
Uh-huh.
people really worked up and in a
Yeah.
frenzy that perhaps we're thinking much earlier for the baby to
Yeah.
come because people had thought April was kind of where people had been settling. And this
Uh-huh.
day kind of caused some people to think sooner, think March.
Uh-huh.
And then in January, wasn't there an incident where she said that she was closer to 6 months, but she was closer to 5 months or something like that.
That does ring a bell. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's just some added interest to the day.
Mystery. Yes. Yeah. I can't make it make sense. I've tried. I can't. So I just usually, I mean, I'll be frank, they like to sue over everything, so I have to put a big fat allegedly blanket over it. I just usually say whatever you think's going on under her outfit, that's up to you. I don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me. The math is not mathing on that one, so I'm not
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. And regardless of any of that, if you put all that aside, as
Mhm.
somebody in the public eye at an event, you're gonna be asked. So you'd
Yeah.
think you'd kind of know. You'd wanna be careful with your words in that
Yeah.
situation, that you don't give people the impression that you're farther along or not, or,
Yeah.
causing this sorts of extra speculation. One might
Mhm.
think she wanted that extra speculation, but
Yes.
then they stomped their feet about, "We want privacy. We're not gonna tell you when we're having the baby. We're not gonna tell you all this stuff."
Right. Yeah. No, it doesn't make any sense. Yeah.
Well,
I think you're onto something though. She wanted the extra, they both wanted the extra speculation. It's just more attention for them, however they can get it. But you know, it brings me back to there's protocol, of course, with the royal family and how they announce these things, and none
right.
of that was followed. The whole thing was very weird. So listen, I'm always going to err to the side of protect your privacy, protect your kids. That's not what this is. This is something different, and it strikes me very odd. I'm completely
Yeah.
fascinated.
And
Yeah.
at this point, she had been with the family for a while, so she should have caught on to some of this at this point, that
You would
ways,
think so, but
yeah, to kinda minimize.
and then again, it brings back up the point. Do you remember allegedly the queen had offered her Sophie to help ease her into royal life, help her navigate the tricky waters, right? And she said,
Yeah.
"No, thanks. I have Harry." I'm like, that doofus doesn't know anything. We've
Yeah.
seen it, right?
Yeah.
How are you going to depend on that guy for any kind of anything help? So no, she was doing herself no favors. She was unwilling to accept help. It was a disaster from the beginning. Something else is occurring to me, and I'm sorry, I'm hijacking your show, but
No.
I didn't even put it together until just now. This was the same event where things were awkward with Prince William. Do you remember this?
Oh, yes.
Meghan, yeah, and the scarf. That's what that poor
Yes.
guy, like he was just so invested in his scarf, and who could blame him? I would pick the
No.
scarf too.
Yeah.
Needs all my immediate focus and attention. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel for him because
Yeah.
things were obviously super awkward at that point between the group.
Yeah.
And, I think we've all had, whether it was a coworker or a friend group or a family group
Uh-huh.
where there was some sort of people not getting along or something like that before an event, everybody coming together. And, the best way to solve those things are icebreakers, like make people laugh, get things cheerful. But poor Prince Harry and the Meg have little to no sense of humor. So that
Yeah.
really wasn't going to work for them. So things
No.
just continued to slide sideways.
Seriously, yeah,
This
they
is no
just
hope.
always take the wrong option on everything, whether it's what to wear, how to act, what to do. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Wrong
like
on
that episode of Seinfeld where they
Mhm.
told George to do the opposite of his instincts always, and then things started working out better for him.
That's such a good point.
Maybe they should try it.
Maybe.
Whatever you want to do, whatever your instinct is, do the exact opposite. And like
Yeah.
George, his life, it turned around. It was
Yeah.
so great for him. Somebody start sending them the link to that episode. Maybe they'll learn something.
Yeah. Yeah, they will never listen to anybody else, but I like where your head's at.
Well, fast forward a couple of years. In 2022, last year, at the Royal Carols together at Christmas, something spectacular happened. The royal ladies, in general, most of them, not
Mhm.
all of them, of course, but most of them, sort of sent a very subtle message to the Meg and anybody else to kind of clear things up a little bit. And I thought it was just a really classy way to go about it. They coordinated their colors. We had Carol Middleton, I think, Pippa
Mhm.
Middleton for sure, Zara,
Mhm.
and maybe Princess Eugenie got in on it. I can't remember for sure. Or this sort of wine burgundy color. And
Yes.
it was, I took it at least as a clear sign that no, you're not banned from wearing certain colors. What Meg was saying, fake news, that you're banned from wearing the same color as somebody else. They showed that without having to say it. And I
Yeah.
just thought that was really awesome. And it was also just like a wonderful thing, you know, showing unity, showing that, you know, sort of coming together visually. It sent the message as well in these like burgundy hues. And I just thought it was really lovely. And her ensemble on its own was really lovely too that day.
I love that. I could talk to you for 4 hours about that outfit. I'm obsessed with it. I'm looking at it now. I want it. This color's great on her.
Yes, it's absolutely beautiful. It was an Eponine London coat dress. And then
Love it.
Princess Charlotte was wearing
Oh,
a coat by Trotters. Both Prince George and Prince William had ties that matched the ladies'
oh.
outfits. So it was very, very nice color coordinated. And, you know, at first I thought, because this is kind of Catherine's flagship yearly event that she started, that she's going to do every year, and it's going to be kind of her tradition that she does for the family, her big thing. And I think that's so great. It's like exactly what I would do too, like something for Christmas because it's the best.
Yes.
But so I thought to myself, maybe she is able to on the invite say, you know, whether or not she wanted a certain dress code or something like that. But
Uh-huh.
we've seen more and more of these times where people were wearing very similar colors. And I just now it stands out even more than it used to.
I
That
think you're
like,
right. Mhm.
see, it's not a rule or whatever. So
Yeah.
it
Nope.
it
You're so
it
right.
could been that it was kind of her choice or she asked people to wear something like that, but I mean, maybe it just was
I'm
something
gonna
they decided behind the scenes. What do you
I
think?
really think it's that because I'm looking back at the outfits and we have Camilla in it looks like a white coat, and then we
Mhm.
have Sophie in like lighter brown colors and stuff. Yeah, but then the rest of them, yeah. God, I love that
Mhm.
color so much. I love that they did that. Whether it's on purpose or not, who knows? I love the idea of it. That
Yes.
this is just some little way of, I don't know, fighting back, if you will, because they don't get to say
Yeah.
anything. So
Yeah,
they can show with
exactly.
their actions. Yeah.
Exactly. Yes. And
Mhm.
it wasn't too on the nose either because not every single woman did it, you know? And so that was
Uh-huh.
probably beneficial as well that a few of them weren't exactly, you know, doing it to where it looked too intentional because that
Yes.
could have raised eyebrows also and maybe made them look like petty or something. People could have
Sure.
said that even though it wasn't. So
Right.
I think that was really nice as well. And Prince William has talked a lot about how much he likes having everybody together at Christmas time. And in this article, he says here that for me, generally bringing the family together at Christmas time is always lovely because we're quite spread out doing our things a lot of the time throughout the year. And we get very few moments to actually come together. When I see my children meet up with my cousin's children and they all have a wonderful time playing together, it's very special. I look forward to that a lot.
I I feel for William, I feel for Charles, but then I think, you know what? I feel like they've carried on, right?
Yeah.
And Harry has remained, I don't know, petulant and whiny. So the only one that's really losing here is Harry.
If he's really that combative and
Mhm.
really that, you know, difficult to be around, then it's
Yeah.
probably for the best that,
Sure.
you
But
know,
I get
they're
what you're saying. It
yeah.
sucks. I mean, it's
It's good that they all have such a good close family unit, and it's one of those things that I like that they set the example sort of, and they have that connection that's so relatable of, you know, everybody kinda reins it in and comes together around the holidays, and
yeah.
you make traditions like this, and it's
Mhm.
about getting the kids together and letting them have a good time with one another and making sure at least once a year everybody can come together, and then you have that stark contrast with
Yeah.
Harry and Meghan where it's just so not showing any sort of like
Yeah.
values. You're not
Yeah.
demonstrating any sort of a value that like, well, we're just going to go do our own thing.
Yeah.
We're going to, you know, ignore invitations, losing those opportunities and just
Mhm.
it highlights too the contrast in character between
Mhm.
these two units of people.
I think so, and I gotta mention, I mean, I feel for her entire I mean, her side of the family too. They're all missing out on this because Harry and Meghan suck, right? For lack of a better word. They just, yeah, they
Yeah,
isolate from everybody. If they can't use you anymore, they dump you, and that's that. So
that's that. But
I
it
hope
looks
that all the families are happy and move on. But Harry and Meghan are the worst. I think to do that to your own life, but to your point, when you bring kids into the equation, it's cruel.
and they're going to miss out on it all. I mean,
Absolutely.
I don't know. But I mean, yeah, they do have the whole entire rest of the family is all big and gets
Yeah.
together still and stuff. So,
Mhm.
and that also shows, it can't be every single member of the family that still gets together is wrong and just Harry and Meghan are right. It always
Absolutely.
that always points it out to me of like, you have just this one little tiny percentage of that family unit that's
Right.
like, no, then clearly they're the problem.
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
Back to Catherine's dress on this day. I absolutely
Yeah.
love it. It's one of her more simple coat dresses. It just has the
Mhm.
2 little buttons there in the front, but it's just a beautiful color, and the fact that they did coordinate to some extent is my
Mhm.
favorite part about it from last year's
Love
Christmas
it.
Carol, service.
So I ask you, what would you wear under? Would it just be something simple under, or is that just not the point? Is it just all about this coat dress? What would you do underneath this?
I think in general, it's pretty much about the coat dress. When you're wearing a coat dress, you tend to not take it off. I mean, because these
Mhm.
are like really polished and tailored and fitted nicely to you and stuff.
Uh-huh.
So they're comfortable to wear. It's not the same as throwing like a big
Right.
coat on top. So yeah, you'd wear something underneath, a sheath
Mhm.
dress or something, hopefully in a matching hue or something similar.
Okay.
But yeah, you'd wear something simple underneath. Wouldn't necessarily show it off. So something
Yeah.
basic. Who knows? For Catherine, it might even be something that's only like $50 or something.
Oh, there
She
you
does
go.
stuff
That's
like
right.
that. It could be
Some
something
from
just
Zara.
yeah,
Yeah.
real basic.
No, I'm with you. I'm totally with you. This is so beautiful and elegant and reads more of a dress than
Yes.
than a heavy coat per se. So I think it's perfect for the occasion.
Mhm.
Festive color. I love her makeup here. I think she did a great
Yes.
job. Whoever did it did a great job, whatever.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
absolutely beautiful. And even like Zara, I really like her coat
Oh
dress
yeah.
too, or her coat that she has on there. It's really
So
fits her
pretty.
really nicely. It looks really pretty. And what a fun tradition too, the Carol concert. I think that's really nice.
I know. I know. I guess it's just for is it just for the royal family? I want to go. How do I go?
I know, right?
How do I get
Yeah.
invited to this thing?
I don't know. I mean, it looks like the room really fills up, and then it's
Uh-huh.
broadcast. Include lots. Everybody can get together and watch it around the holidays, which
Mhm.
makes it inclusive for everybody who can't go or who doesn't get to go. I imagine they
Yeah.
probably invite people from various charities and stuff like that
Sure.
to
Sure.
join
That makes
for
sense.
it, because yeah, the room looks pretty full
Uh-huh.
most
Yeah.
of the time. But that same year at Sandringham, it was the first Christmas back to Sandringham for the Royals because they were not doing it in 2021 or 2020 due to COVID. She came back with something totally unique. Now, we have seen all the gorgeous coat dresses and all the festive colors and tartan and plaid and all of these things from Catherine over the years at Sandringham Christmas. She always does a great job of doing something festive and fun and beautiful. But last year was very unique, and it was a slightly different color than usual, a little bit more of a muted, almost olivey or army green
Mhm.
coat dress. And then she had a matching hat, chocolate brown boots, gloves, and a handbag. But she just really leaned into this very different aesthetic for her that was so unique that even though it's not like everybody's favorite, I am liking it more and more because it is something so different,
Mhm.
but it's still like cool. She's got this like cool big hat with the feather and these earrings that just sort of echo the vibe of the hat and the feather there. And then the coat dress is impeccably tailored as always. And it's just a good example of trying something different and new and it working out and being nice and fresh. What do you think of this look though?
I'm with you. I'll be totally honest. I love Catherine. She can do no wrong. But when I first saw it, I was like, I don't know. But it grew on me. Now, the description I read was they describe it as forest green. So that makes it make sense to me for
Mhm.
the occasion, for the time of year.
That is a way better phrase, forest
Oh,
green. Yes, way more accurate.
yeah, there you
My
go.
yeah,
That's
definitely. I
okay.
fully yes.
But I love the coat. I'm that's my favorite part of this outfit. The hat, I want to I is it over to the top for the occasion? I don't know. I don't fully understand hats. As an American, it's just not part of I just don't fully understand. So maybe it makes sense. Um But that was my first thought, is maybe the hat's a little much, but I get where she's going. The color looks beautiful on her. Love the makeup once again. Her lip color is like this. I'm zooming. It's she looks great. The earrings are good. I agree with you. They're fun. They're
Yeah.
different.
I feel like because we know how she kind of likes, she seems to like earrings, special
Yes.
or unique and interesting earrings. It
Uh-huh.
seems to be a jewelry that she gravitates towards wearing. You know what I mean? We don't see her with like extra rings all over her fingers, on like other fingers. We don't see
Uh-huh.
her. She wears necklaces, of course, but we don't see her pulling out interesting necklaces as often as interesting earrings. She pretty much always has an interesting earring on, I feel like, most of the
Uh-huh.
time. And so I could totally see this being a situation where she got these earrings. I think I read that they were a gift from William and they are so interesting. They wouldn't work with some of those other types of coat dresses that we have seen her in.
Uh-huh.
They just wouldn't go
You're
well
right. You're
with
right.
certain
Mhm.
things. And so I could see this being a look that she built based
Uh-huh.
on those earrings that he gifted her, which is super special and sweet. I absolutely am obsessed with their love story. Their relationship
Oh,
is so beautiful and incredible. Like,
I agree.
goals.
Yeah.
So love it, obsessed with it.
Yes.
This I could see being something she would do. That she was like, I really want to wear these earrings from him. It's something she clearly likes. I could totally see because they were like affordable too. They're not like a super expensive earring, if I'm remembering
Okay.
correctly. This coat dress is a perfect choice for it because
Uh-huh.
even though it has this collar here, that it's just up. It's not got
Yes.
like any extra
Uh-huh.
volume to it. It's not like a regular folded collar where it
Uh-huh.
comes out because that would compete with the earrings themselves. And
Mhm.
even the clasps here kind of go with the earrings. So
Uh-huh.
then this hat, I think, is the perfect option with these
Okay.
earrings and this look. And she has her hair back and away, which is exactly what it needed.
Yes.
And I too, at first, was like, well, that's a really different look for
Uh-huh.
her because it is so different than what we have seen, especially at Christmas time.
Uh-huh.
I love it. I really do. And it's just, the hat is big, yes,
Uh-huh.
but because it's got the embellishment across the top and whatnot, it goes. It's
I'm
perfect
liking it better. Yeah.
balance. Yeah.
You're selling me on it. You are.
Yeah.
I
I
think
just
the ribbon around it is nice with the bow detail here.
yes, yeah,
Yeah.
it really is. And then like that feather just really kind of brings those earrings in really, really nicely. Do you remember
Yeah.
recently they went to a church service and Prince Andrew was in the car with
I do.
William and
Uh-huh.
Kate, and she
Yes.
had on, it looked like this little sort of almost like a top hat style
Mhm.
hat, also had a feather just like that. So I think she's
Oh,
starting to venture out into some more interesting and different hats, which is really fun too.
that is fun. Now, I just found something interesting that I did not know on this coat or this dress. It's they're calling it a tailored coat from Alexander McQueen. And I'm on, let's see, it's katemiddletonstyle.org. And they're pointing out she's worn this 3 times before. They said if it looks familiar, we've
Oh.
seen her wear it on 3 other occasions, all in 2020, to visit Bradford, to visit Galway, Ireland, and to visit London Euston Station for the Royal Train Tour.
Oh, lovely.
I had no idea, but I kinda love it more now. I love that she
Yeah.
does that. It's very
Yes,
relatable because
it
most of us
is.
can't just buy a single-use coat.
Exactly. And that makes sense why the coat's not as well known because 2020 was rough. Like I could totally see her being like, well, it goes with this coat. So then
Uh-huh,
finding a hat that works with it was probably not easy because I mean, just I'm trying to think about other hats. They just
uh-huh.
wouldn't go. Like looking through some of her past Christmas looks, a different style of hat just wouldn't have worked well with it. So this was the perfect hat for this occasion. I mean, even one like this
Yes.
would not go
No,
with
it
the
wouldn't.
vibe.
You're right, you're
Even
right.
though it's like quite simple and stuff, it wouldn't work with the vibe of those earrings and take that direction. So it was different. It was cool. It was fun. It kind of reminds me of a hat you might see Princess Anne wear, actually.
Okay, yeah, that's a good
I
yeah,
could
I
totally
love
see
Princess
Anne
Anne, yes.
wearing a hat like this one with the feather and the bigger brim and whatnot. It's fun to see her explore something new and different and still be able to pull it off so impeccably
Yeah.
well. It's like all of us when we're trying something new, it's like, I don't know about it, but she
She
rocked
rocked
it.
it,
Yeah.
yeah. Now I did find out about the earrings.
Oh,
The
please.
earrings they're called Diana style. They're from a French brand named Cezanne,
Oh, I love
And
Cezanne.
okay, so they
Yeah.
are recycled brass and they retail for about 100 pounds, so 120 US dollars. They said it's
Yeah.
the fifth pair of Cezanne earrings we've seen Kate wear or Catherine wear recently. That's cool. I had no idea.
Or a
I'm gonna
lot
have
more
to Google
Cezanne.
Cezanne after that.
You should.
Okay.
The cream sweater
Oh
skirt
yeah.
set was
Uh-huh.
Cezanne. I'm pretty positive.
Oh, I love that outfit.
Yeah, if I'm remembering correctly. Cezanne has
Mhm.
been really coming up a lot
Okay.
more. You know, they were a really small brand for a long time, and they've just
Mhm.
really been pushing through their visibility and whatnot. And I love that she's wearing their stuff. I love the vibe that their clothes have because they're polished and sleek, but they still
Mhm.
have this almost like they are the ones who can incorporate a little bit of a boho vibe and
Uh-huh.
have it still come off not full-blown boho or messy. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
Sure.
they tried
Yeah.
to say that Meghan was doing it. She was not.
No.
Cezanne is doing it, and they're doing it well.
So something interesting I just found again on this I just want to give them a shout. KateMiddletonStyle.org. They do give a glimpse. I didn't notice it. They found a picture where you can see the teeniest glimpse of what she might be wearing underneath. It seems to just be a very simple sweater dress in that same forest green hue.
Oh,
So,
perfect.
yeah,
Yes. Yeah,
I
sweater
always like
dress
to
would
know
be
that.
like the perfect thing to wear for
Mhm.
a day like this. Comfort is such a huge factor, and we were talking about that before, that, like, Meghan might have so many awkward shots on camera and awkward moments, maybe in part because she's so uncomfortable. She just really needs to get it over with because she's just like not comfy, maybe. So
Yeah, yeah,
I don't
maybe.
know. But so Catherine clearly does a good job of making sure she's comfortable for the event. And I even love her
Yeah,
gloves in this. These,
I do too. I was
yeah,
looking at those.
they
Yeah,
have that
they're good.
embroidery sort of or
Uh-huh.
stitching across the back. It's just really nice looking gloves. They're very
I keep
pretty.
zooming in on this coat too. What I'm noticing, I just love the I don't know what you call it, the seams on this dress, the coat dress, how it the lines are so nice, almost like well, like you were saying, boning.
Yes. Yeah, yeah, they are very beautiful, and it adds a nice just enhances her figure. You know how they come
It
out like
does.
this, you know, you
Uh-huh.
for your bust, and then they
Uh-huh.
just come straight down, but then the ones on the side have a little bit of a curve to kind of define the waist a little bit there. And
Uh-huh.
even the fact that the buttons are hidden and the fasteners are slightly hidden, I quite like that about this. It gives it a clean and polished look, but it
Yeah.
still has that interest from all of the stitching. And that's something we talked about in the coats that you featured as well, how sometimes just keeping things stitched and the interesting changes to the way a coat or a dress or a garment is stitched together can add that interest without it needing to be over the top embellishments or extra fabric. It
Mhm.
just adds that interest. And by removing the buttons from view, it allows that to be a little bit more of a focal point, those extra seams and detailing of the coat.
I think you're so right. That's yeah, that's exactly. It just makes it look so nice on her and
Yeah.
perfectly fit. Yeah.
Yeah, and I even like how the bottom pockets don't have a flap because
Yeah.
a lot of them have, like, big flaps and stuff, and so it's just a well-constructed coat. Who's the designer of this coat again? Alexander
Oh,
McQueen?
yes. Uh-huh. Yeah.
Figures.
Yeah.
Stunning and perfect all the time. That's one of my
Always.
favorite designers to see her in is Alexander
Mhm.
McQueen. I mean, I like Jenny Packham too, she wears them all the time, but I
Uh-huh.
feel like Alexander McQueen is some of the most
He does such
just
a good yeah.
wow moments on
Uh-huh.
Kate, or Catherine. People
Yes.
get so mad at me. I'm
I know.
sorry. All the articles I read say Kate
Uh-huh.
still.
No, I know. I can explain that. It has to do with the tags because people still search Kate. It's just that she's been on
Oh,
record to say that she prefers Catherine the well, she doesn't say Princess of Wales, but yeah, Catherine. So I say both out I say Catherine out of respect, but sometimes in my tags I say Kate because that's people still search Kate. So don't
right.
get mad at Beebs. She's doing what people search. You kind of have to you kind of have to write both because people search both ways. So don't
Right.
think too hard about
Okay.
it.
So aside from Alexander McQueen, I really am excited to see her in Cezanne a lot more because I personally like their clothing like myself, and they're not quite as expensive. Like obviously they're not as expensive as Alexander McQueen, like full-blown
Uh-huh.
designer prices here, but I really like seeing her in those things as well. But
Uh-huh.
what designers do you tend to like when she pulls out something special?
So, yeah,
You know.
I'm not as good at this as you are.
Sorry to put you on the spot.
No, it's okay. You stole my answer. I was gonna say Alexander McQueen. There's a white, almost like coat dress it looked from her. I think it was her first balcony appearance for Trooping the Color. She wore a white, it was 2011 Trooping the Color. She wore a white Alexander McQueen that I just loved. I thought it was so pretty. Don't love the hat, but I love the dress. And
Yes.
yeah, she looked beautiful in that. So I tend to like that. And I believe she wore Alexander McQueen for Coronation. It's hard to see that dress. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I tend to like that. And then Jenny Packham, the sparkles, the dresses. Oh, you can't beat it. She's so beautiful.
Yeah, yeah. Just great designers, great
Mhm.
fashion sense. She just does such a good job of picking stuff that's gonna flatter her without
Mhm.
being insane about it. You know, she's never
Yes.
doing something that feels attention grabbing, which I think appeals to a lot of people because she already knows she's on the stage. She's
Uh-huh.
already going to be getting headlines and attention and stuff as it is. She doesn't need to do weird stuff with her clothes to
Mhm.
get more attention out of it. We see
Yeah.
Meghan gravitate towards things that seem like trying to get attention or trying too hard or wearing stuff
Uh-huh.
that just doesn't feel like it flows or is cohesive for the situation. Like something about it is always off, and we just never get that vibe from Catherine.
No, it seems to be the opposite. Like I was saying, I think Catherine is all about the details, and it just doesn't seem like effort is put into the details when it comes. I think Megan's thing is what's the most expensive thing I can put on me. She
Yeah.
thinks expensive equals good, whereas Catherine's just more thoughtful about it. Because we've seen her wear things from Zara.
Really relatable and nice for people who get excited that they could have something that she also wore, that they could afford something that she wore. It's special and feels like a connection to people, real
Yes.
people out there. And that's just such a special thing that we don't get as much of from others.
I totally agree. It just makes her a little bit more relatable. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so.
Yes, definitely. Well, thank you so much for joining me for this chat.
Yeah. Yeah. No, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. It's always a pleasure and so much fun to talk to you. And I love your videos and your channel so much. You do such a good job. So I'm excited to be here.
Thank you so much. The feeling is absolutely mutual. You guys go and check out Jen's channel. Most of you came here from there, but
Oh.
anybody who has not yet checked out Jen's channel, then please do.
Mhm.
It's Real Housewives Recaps, and
Uh-huh.
she posts all the time, so you'll never miss a beat on these news items either. So thank you
Thanks.
so much for joining me. I really appreciated our chat. Was so much fun.
Yeah. Thanks
Thank
so
you so
much for
much.
having me. I appreciate it. You guys have a great day. Thanks again.
Thank you guys so much for being here with me. I really, really appreciate it. A huge thank you to Jen. It was so much fun chatting with her and going through these looks with you all and comparing the differences. Please leave it in the comments your thoughts and whether or not you enjoyed today's video. I always appreciate hearing from you all. Even if you have nothing good to say, just say hi. I have come to know so many of you throughout the comments that when I don't hear from you in a while, I'm wondering if you're all right. Please don't hesitate to just drop a hello and let me know. I so appreciate hearing from you all and seeing our community here grow. So thank you all so much for joining me for this video. I hope you enjoyed it and I hope you have a very happy day ahead. Happy holidays, everybody.